Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. There is massive politics peaking on Ram Mandir consecration ceremony on Jan 22 next year. Earlier today, TMC sources suggested that even Mamata Banerjee is unlikely to attend the ceremony and is unlikely to even send a representative. This after CPIM has already rejected the invite, calling the event inappropriate. Now, Rahul Gandhi's close aide, Sam Pitroda, has stated that he is worried that too much importance is being given to religion in the country today and that the national agenda should focus on education and employment and growth as opposed to the entire nation being hung up on Ram Temple. This may seem like a new strain of criticism, but if you scratch the surface, you'll see this is more of the same. Even in the past, we've seen how several opposition leaders have openly opposed the construction of Ram Mandir in Ayodhya by questioning its very need. Several times, Hindus in India were asked, why do you need a temple at this site? This question was never asked of Muslims. Why do they need a mosque on Ram Janmasthan? For long, there used to be a campaign to suggest that the disputed site should be converted into a school or a hospital because those are the fundamental needs of India. But is construction of a Ram temple on this holy site stopping us from achieving those goals? So now that construction is a reality, there is no longer any feasibility in questioning the need for a Ram temple. So the question has morphed into why pay it so much attention. Is this not once again a slight of faithfuls who have waited patiently for the temple? Why can't Hindus rejoice? Why is it so wrong for them to do so? Does it mean that they don't care about health or education if they celebrate a Ram temple or if the government does so? Are the two mutually exclusive? And ahead of 2024, is the opposition making the same fundamental mistake of shooting itself in the foot, going against what is the larger sentiment of the majority community in the country? We'll take that question to our guests in just a bit. But first up, let me break down exactly what are the statements that have been made by Sam Pitroda and how has the BJP predominantly reacted to it, because a lot of the criticism has come of this government and of the BJP. So one of the statements Sam Pitroda has made is that I see that democracy is being undermined in India. That of course is the larger political narrative of the opposition, the criticism of the government, not so much to do with Ram Temple, but it gives you a hint that actually it is criticism of the present day government or the BJP that is also seeping in to oppose this event. What did the BJP say? The BJP says the Congress does not really understand Hindu faith, or it doesn't really matter to the Congress party, the Hindu faith, which is why their leaders keep making these statements. Sam Pitroda also said that there are signals that India is on the wrong path. He says this because there is too much attention, according to him, being given to a Ram temple and not to other fundamental issues. The BJP says that for opposition, Ram is imaginary and they have tried to halt the construction in the past. They are of course referring to the UPA government's affidavit in court in the past or statements that their leaders have made in the past. Now, Pitroda has also gone on to say that it bothers me that the entire nation is hung up on Ram temple. And the BJP has of course looked at this statement and they're saying that this represents the thinking of Rahul Gandhi as well. They're saying that you can extrapolate this to what the larger Congress thinking is. Meanwhile, there is also another front that has been opened by erstwhile partners, now the split section of the Uddhav Thackeray Sena, that has targeted the BJP in an article in Samna, the mouthpiece of the Shiv Sena UBT. So what does this article say? It states that the BJP is taking credit for Ram Temple, which is unacceptable to them. Remember, they've been saying for a long time that they're not getting their due. They were at the forefront of the Babri Masjid demolition and they're owning it up. It's ironical that actually the Babri Masjid demolition or that episode is what the larger opposition opposes and has condemned. Today, the Shiv Sena UBT is actually part of that larger opposition alliance where they are openly and have always openly owned up to the Ram Janmabhoomi movement or even what happened in December 1992. They ask, where was the BJP when Babri movement happened? So they are saying that the BJP is actually not to be credited at all for this. The Uddhav Thackeray faction is also highlighting that it is Shiv Senics who have always fought for the Mandir cause and asked, is Prime Minister Narendra Modi bigger than Lord Ram? They've also said that this event is being converted into a party event or a government event all centered around the Prime Minister. Lastly, they have said that poster politics is also not acceptable to Hindus. Overall, they are not very happy. They claim and it has been alleged by them that they have not received any invite for the consecration ceremony, even though the other faction of the Shiv Sena, which is today with the BJP, has received an invite. Will there be no opposition for Ram Mandir's consecration? That's the big question that is now coming to mind. Whether there are going to be any opposition leaders who will actually attend this event. We asked this question because Sitaram Yechury, the CPIM General Secretary, has already announced yesterday that they are not going to be attending this event. They feel this is state-sponsored religious event. Mallikarjun Kharge is Congress President. He has been invited, has not decided yet. Former President of Congress Party, Sonia Gandhi, has also been invited, undecided yet. And Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, who is the leader of opposition from the Congress in Lok Sabha, is also undecided. We were hearing murmurs that the Congress could send a representative, but it's unlikely that Sonia Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge will attend the event. Let's also take a look at what's happening. There's of course Manmohan Singh from the Congress Party, former Prime Minister, unlikely to attend, but this could be due to health reasons as well. There are other opposition leaders like Mamta Banerjee, who has been invited. We are getting hints today that she is unlikely to attend as well, and possibly will not send a representative either. Now, Shiv Sena UBT chief, as I said, Uddhav Thackeray, the party at least is claiming that they have not been invited, and there has been no clarification either from the trust or the BJP on this. Arvind Kejriwal, the national convener of the Aam Aadmi Party, Chief Minister of Delhi, has also not decided whether he will attend this event or not. But in the past, the Aam Aadmi Party at least has supported the construction of the Ram Temple after the judgment came, and they've also been taking the line of, taking Hindus to pilgrimage sites, etc., and all of that. But is the Ram Temple ceremony really putting the opposition parties in a fix? Because I want to point out how the line of questioning has always been against the Ram Temple and against the faith of Hindus, and never on the other side. These are the same opposition parties that have in the past questioned the construction of Ram Temple. Is that questioning just changing a little bit today that the Ram Temple is a reality? So take a look at some of these statements. Manish Sisodia, former Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, in 2018 had famously stated that it's better to build a university on the site in Ayodhya if both parties agree. This is the same line of why do you need a temple? Do something that is better for society. Congress MP Shashi Tharoor has also said this in the past. He has gone one step further to say that no good Hindu will want a temple by destroying a mosque. Another senior Congress leader, Digvijay Singh, had stated in 2018 something similar, that even Lord Ram will not want a temple or his temple at a disputed land. Remember, this is no longer disputed. The court has passed a judgment. And AAP convener Arvind Kejriwal in 2014 had said that even Lord Ram will not reside in the temple made on the debris of a mosque. So now that the opposition questions, why so much attention? Why are we so bothered with the Ram Temple today? Why is there such a build-up? Is this really the same line of questioning continuing? And is the opposition also shooting itself in the foot? Because remember, we are barely 4 months ahead of the next general elections. What is the message being sent out to the faith and the religiosity and the divine faith of 80 crore Hindus in India? We'll take that forward with our guests in just a bit.
I'm worried about it because I see too much importance given to religion. I see that democracy is being undermined. National agenda should focus on education, employment, growth, economy. उसकी तो बात होती नहीं है. बात होती है हिंदू टेंपल की, बात होती है राम भगवान.
बाबरी मस्जिद को शहीद कर दिया गया और उस दिन को मुसलमान ब्लैक डे के नाम से मानते हैं।
राम मंदिर ये राजनीति करने का विषय नहीं है, आस्था का विषय है और श्रद्धा का विषय है।
Sam Patoda is a very good example of how far removed Congress and Rahul's Congress in particular is from the psyche of India, from the soul of India, from what Indians and every Bharatvasi wants.
ये तो वही लोग हैं जो राम को काल्पनिक मानते हैं. इनसे आप क्या उम्मीद करते हैं? इनके लिए तो राम काल्पनिक है, हमारे लिए राम हमारे आदर्श है.
Hello, Moto.
Going across to the guests joining us, Siddharth Yadav is from the BJP. Kishore Tiwari is Shiv Sena UBT leader. Sanjay Jha, political analyst, former Congress member, leans towards the Congress party. Professor Geeta Bhatt is an academician also joining us. I do thank you all for your time. Sanjay, let me begin with you. Is celebrating Ram Temple exclusive of wanting development in the country? Sam Pitroda's statement is that, too much talk is happening on the Ram Temple or on religion or on Ram itself and not on other issues. But are we not talking about other issues enough, and are the two mutually exclusive? Now that after 500-year wait and almost a century's legal dispute, the temple is becoming a reality, is the community not allowed to celebrate it?
Shivani, I do believe that the Ram Temple consecration is a very momentous and a very historic occasion. And I do believe that members of the India Alliance will be reaching there for the entire ceremony. I'm very convinced of that. They should, because I can tell you very categorically, and your viewers should know, that this has got nothing to do with the Bharatiya Janata Party. Let me repeat that again. This has got nothing to do with the BJP. This has got nothing to do with the RSS. And why the India Alliance must go there is because the BJP and the RSS are actually trying to manipulate a Supreme Court judgment. Now, you will hear a lot of BJP spokespersons, leaders, everybody talking about, we promised it in our manifesto. But Shivani, you're a very seasoned journalist. You can ask anybody from the BJP, including whoever is their representative today, did they have any assurance or guarantee that the Supreme Court would pass a unanimous or a majority verdict in favor of the Ram Temple? The answer would be no, unless the BJP is insinuating that they had influence over the Supreme Court. So here is the larger point. It's a Supreme Court verdict. It was a disputed item for a very long time. And we all know that India has paid a huge price in terms of human lives lost after the Babri Masjid demolition. So let us treat this subject with a lot of sensitivity here. I believe that the India Alliance must go. Yes, the Ram Temple is, I'm a Hindu, by the way. I happen to be a Brahmin, and I do believe that the Bhagwan Ram has been part of our ethos for decades and centuries. However, I need to make a point. I do not at any point as a public figure ever bring religion into my conversations or my politics. That's not the way it ought to be done. The constitution of this country actually tells you that religion and politics have to be segregated. So today when I heard Sam, who, by the way, I need to make a disclosure, happens to be somebody I'm in touch with. If Sam says that religion and politics have to be segregated, it's not a healthy thing. He is actually quoting the Constitution of India. So if the BJP is critical of Sam, they are basically critical of the Indian Constitution.
No,
so
but I think there's a distinction.
My last line.
Yeah.
My last line is the Ram Temple is on account of the Supreme Court verdict. It's got nothing to do with the BJP.
No, I get your point, and I think I'll get to the point of whether the BJP is trying to appropriate the construction of the Ram Temple and its significance ahead of an election year. I'll get to that point in just a bit. But what Sam Pitroda is saying is not simply that, don't mix religion and politics. He's saying that talk about unemployment, talk about education, talk about other things. Why is the country hung up on the Ram Temple? Now, is that a fair comment to make?
Okay, I think, Shivani, I don't think we are being fair here, because both of them, as you rightly mentioned in your own introduction, and you are correct, both of them can coexist. India can celebrate the Ram Temple, and India must debate unemployment, sectarian politics, governance, corruption, Adani, the works. Here is my point. The government of India under Mr. Modi does not spend time on those fundamental issues which affect the lives of the people in all parts of the country meaningfully. I'll give you one example. Just think about it. Look at the cockiness and the arrogance of this party. There's a security breach Okay, let the investigations happen. We all know the security breach, according to the reported statements, was because the people were frustrated, being jobless. Do you ever hear such ugly manifestations in any part of the world where people have become so desperate economically and socially that they're willing to attack their parliament even if they didn't have any violent intentions? I mean, this is a government that dodges, deflects, runs away from the conversation, and I think that's what Sam was basically talking about.
I just want to address the other point that I had raised at the start of the debate. I'll come back to it later. That what is the message that the opposition ends up sending when many of their leaders or their faces keep questioning the fact that the Ram temple is being celebrated? But I'll come to that in just a bit, because that's also a key element to discuss. But Siddharth Yadav, I'll give you the opportunity to respond to what Sanjay Jha is saying. Two broad issues. Why is the government uneasy to debate the issues the opposition repeatedly places on the table? Most recently, the issue of unemployment or the breach in security of parliament. And secondly, is the BJP not guilty of appropriating the construction of the Ram temple as if it happened because of you? Now, I know the BJP, the RSS, VHP, all these forces were involved in the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, but at the end of the day, it happened via Supreme Court judgment.
Shivani, Mr. Sanjay Jha from Congress was saying that did the BJP have any assurance, any message from the Supreme Court that this was going to happen? We had no assurance, sir. We had the conviction. We had the conviction because we were fighting for it from decades. When we were fighting for it, when we were taking the bullets, you were mocking us. You were the ones who were firing bullets on us. When we were saying कि हम मंदिर वहीं बनाएंगे, you were mocking us and asking कि मंदिर तो वहीं बनाएंगे पर तारीख नहीं बताएंगे. Now when we tell you the date that it is in this January 24, you can't digest that and you want to take away any credit. Go ahead, sir. Take any credit that you want. But you can't even take that because you are confused, because you don't have any support for the Ram Mandir, and you want to do this because of your specific ideology of anti-Bharat. The ideology that Bharat has been living for. You want to disrespect the 500 years of wait. You want to do that, sir? Go ahead. But we were there fighting for the Ram Mandir, and finally it is happening. If you're not happy, sorry, we can't really help it. But my friend was also saying that we have been deflecting from the core issues. We have been deflecting from Berozgari, from other issues, which the opposition has been trying to put on table. Which table? You are not participating in any debates. You have been walking out even before the attack on the parliament happened on important bills. When important bills of people's welfare are being discussed, you try and hijack the parliament and ensure that no discussions happen. And then you want to come here on national television and deflect the debate. Now you want to come here and say the security breach was from some bhatke hue naujawan. Is that real? And is that not deflection? Either it is a security breach, either it is a national issue of national concern, or it was just bhatke hue naujawan. If it was bhatke hue naujawan, go and meet them, sir. Make them your friends. Who is stopping you? But you want to deflect from the national debate. If you want to come and debate on issues of national importance, if you want to debate on Berozgari, come ahead, sir. Okay. We'll tell you more than 6 crore jobs developed in the only in the digital sector. More than 8 crore jobs have been brought by the Mudra Yojana. You don't want to do that. That is the reality, because you know you are failing miserably. Okay, because I just want to 10 years.
I just want to come in and say that, we do debate a lot of issues that come up on a day-to-day basis: economy, unemployment, price rise, inflation. All of these issues have been discussed. But the core point here is that why must you almost seem like begrudging the celebration that is taking place today because of the Ram temple? And I get party politics, but the message that goes out fundamentally is, Sanjay, that opposition parties, let's face it, cannot be seen as celebrating the Ram temple. That's their dilemma, because opposition parties, including the Congress party, have been seen as opposed to the Ram Janmabhoomi movement and to even the judgments that eventually came in the favor of Mandir. That's the reality.
Shivani, let me tell you outright, that's an outrageous and outlandish propaganda that the BJP wants the people of this India to believe. But I have a lot of trust on the wisdom of the common citizen of this country. Look at the BJP gentleman on your program. He talks about a movement. He doesn't even know. I think he should know his history. Ek dhakka aur do, Babri Masjid tod do. This was a language used by many of the volunteers who are, by the way, supporters of your great party. And incidentally, are you even aware of how India has paid a massive price after the destruction of the Babri Masjid. Do you know Mumbai I live in? This city then has never been the same because of the communal riots that followed. And you need to have some degree of sensitivity, my friend. I know you are in power, but you can't be so condescending when you're talking about the Babri Masjid demolition. It basically splintered India down the middle. And later on, as you saw, it led to, by the way, terror attacks in Mumbai where I live. So calm down and take a deep breath.
Yeah, but let's not justify any terror activity on the basis of what happened. I get your point. But Sanjay, you're not understanding the question I'm asking. If Babri demolition was wrong, what was also wrong is that for decades and decades, Hindus were denied even the historical right to say that there was a Ram temple here. History was denied because it was convenient politically. And I'm sorry, you may not agree when I say this, it was done because of religious vote bank politics. All of Ram temple politics is because of religion. You don't like it today because the verdict is one way, but for 40 years, it was swaying the other side. Is that not the truth?
Shivani, let me tell you, all what I call as truly committed democratic parties in India, and I speak, by the way, right now, without having the brief of the others, of practically every party in the India alliance, other than the Shiv Sena, which I agree was instrumental in the Babri Masjid.
And today it is part of that India alliance.
I'm not discussing that politics, but I'm coming to the larger point, that everyone was correct in saying that whatever the Supreme Court says, we will honor it.
That came much later, Sanjay.
I have a question for Siddharth Yadav.
Okay, Sanjay, just hold on. Just hold on to your question. Two of our guests have not spoken. I'll come back to both of you. Yeah. But the fact that we will honor the Supreme Court judgment is a public posturing that came around much later. By that time, BJP was already in power at the center. The mood has shifted. Till the Congress was in power, it was not that we will accept Supreme Court's judgment. It was about delaying the very decision in this case. Kapil Sibal, then Congress leader, is on record to tell the Supreme Court, please postpone the verdict till after 2019 elections. All of it was party politics and vote bank politics from all sides. I'm not saying only one side. But let's also acknowledge the fact that for years, it was denounced and denied the historical aspects of this site, as is being done today for others. And Hindus were asked the question, why do you even want a temple? It's the most insensitive question to ask. If it is insensitive, what happened to Babri Masjid? Both are insensitive. One cannot be talked about without mentioning the other. But I want to go back across to Shiv Sena UBT leader Kishore Tiwari ji is joining us. Kishore Tiwari ji, आपकी पार्टी का ये मानना है कि बीजेपी ने गलत किया है, आपकी पार्टी को न्योता नहीं दिया, उद्धव ठाकरे को न्योता नहीं दिया, पहली बात तो, और दूसरा शिव सेना का जो रोल है, जो आपके फैक्शन का जो रोल है, उसको उन्होंने नजरअंदाज कर दिया है. आप बीजेपी से क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
नहीं, मैं तो ये कहूंगा कि राम के मंदिर का निर्माण होना बहुत अच्छी बात है और एक मसला तो तय हुआ. लेकिन संजय ने भी कहा और शांत प्रीतोदा के आपने जो स्टेटमेंट बताए कि कोर इश्यूज पे सरकार ने बात करनी चाहिए. लेकिन एक तरफ तो ये बताते कि वीएचपी ऑर्गेनाइजर है, दूसरी तरफ पूरी इनवाइटीज की लिस्ट जो है वो पॉलिटिकल है. तो इससे मुझे लगता है कि बीजेपी का यह एक पॉलिटिकल फंक्शन बन चुका है, जिससे वीएचपी और वहाँ के जो ट्रस्ट है उसने इसका संकेत लेना चाहिए. लेकिन मैं देखता हूँ कि यह बात कि ये पूरा पॉलिटिकल ड्रामा है और ये पॉलिटिकल पूरा इसका राजनीतिकरण करने में बीजेपी सक्षम हो चुकी है, क्या सफल होने को जा रही है, इस पर इतना बवाल क्यों? रही बात तो जिन्होंने बाबरी मस्जिद गिराई, संजय ने भी बताया कि बाबरी मस्जिद में तो धक्का देने को मैं ही गया था, तो बाबरी मस्जिद हमने गिराई, शिवसेना ने गिराई. और अभी जो लोग भाग गए थे वहां से, दूसरे दिन जिन्होंने स्टेटमेंट भी दिया था कि हमारा कोई लेना देना नहीं है, वो लोग कह रहे कि अभी हमने गिराई है, हमने सब किया है. अगर हम वो विवादित ढांचा गिराते नहीं तो मंदिर बनने की बात ही नहीं आती. और
बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज आप बोल रहे हो. बीजेपी ये नहीं कहती कि बाबरी मस्जिद के डेमोलिशन में उनका हाथ है, आप सही कह रहे हो, आप तो खुले में बोल रहे हो. लेकिन जो आप ही के अलायंस, इंडिया अलायंस के पार्टनर्स हैं, वो बीजेपी को ब्लेम कर रहे हैं. वो बाबरी मस्जिद का जो ढांचा गिराया गया था उसको गलत मानते हैं. तो आप उनसे क्या कहेंगे?
एक मिनट शिवानी जी, हाँ, हमने जो किया वो किया। आज की राजनीति में देश के प्रजातंत्र को बचाने के लिए कि शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, बेरोजगारी, महंगाई, इस सब के लिए, और जो लोग अभी देश में सत्ता में हैं उनको बताने के लिए हमने साझा तोड़ा है। तो किसी राजनीतिक पार्टी से संबंध जोड़ना और तोड़ना, इससे हमारे आस्था का कहाँ संबंध है?
नहीं, पर आपकी आस्था तो कांग्रेस टाइप जो पार्टीज है वो तो शेयर नहीं करती ना आपकी आस्था। वो तो कहते गलत हुआ जो बाबरी मस्जिद ढांचे के साथ हुआ।
अरे भाई, ये कॉमन मिनिमम प्रोग्राम का पार्ट नहीं है। इस पर अगर ज्यादा विवाद निर्माण हुआ तो हम उनसे दूर हो जाएंगे, हमें कोई ये थोड़ी है। लेकिन हम हिंदू पार्टी है और हिंदुओं की रक्षा हो, ये हमारी बात है। लेकिन ये बात नहीं है कि हम कोर इश्यूज को इग्नोर करना चाहते हैं। अरे बेरोजगारी, स्वास्थ्य, शिक्षा पे जो मोदी जी की सरकार फेल हो चुकी है, महंगाई पे फेल हो चुकी है, उस पर तो बात करनी पड़ेगी।
ओके, आई टेक दैट टू सिद्धार्थ यादव। मैं सिद्धार्थ यादव को एक मौका दूंगी उस पर रिस्पॉन्ड करने के लिए। गीता भट्ट, मैं आपके पास आ रही हूँ, लेकिन उससे पहले मैं 30 सेकंड संजय झा को देना चाहती हूँ। संजय झा, यू नो, हाउ डू यू reconcile with this? This is almost an ironical, laughable situation. Siddharth ji, I'm coming to you. Just be patient for 30 seconds. You know, your own alliance partner today owns up the demolition of Babri Masjid. The Congress, there's no squeak against the Shiv Sena UBT or their politics because it's convenient today. They're the one who own up to this.
Shivani, you have to look at two parts here. Number one, why is the BJP not inviting Mr. Uddhav Thackeray? I believe, as Tiwari ji rightly mentioned, if anybody is playing the crudest form of politics, it is the BJP. Because the truth is, and it cannot be denied, yes, it's on record. I remember being a student at that point of time and following politics very closely. I'm aware of the fact that the Shiv Sena had an active role. You can debate good, bad, ugly, whatever. That is a separate conversation. But they had a role in the Babri Masjid demolition. But today, because of political reasons, the BJP is not acknowledging the fact that Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, who is, by the way, correctly, I can't argue with Mr. Tiwari, the Shiv Sena is a hindutva party. But Uddhav Thackeray has been very clear that my hindutva is a much more inclusive hindutva as opposed to the BJP's divisive and
why BJP's? Why not his father's hindutva? Why target BJP? It was his father's hindutva.
No, but I'm talking about the Shiv Sena today.
The Shiv Sena today, the representative today is saying this is our credit. But you are blaming the BJP for it.
I'm blaming the BJP for actually hijacking the entire construction of the Ram Temple.
Okay.
Thanks to the Supreme Court.
But you didn't answer my question.
It's a Ram Temple trust.
Ideologically and principally, how is it okay that the Congress and other so-called secular democratic parties share space with the UBT Sena that is openly saying कि हमने गिराया ढांचा तो? Okay, Geeta Bhatt is waiting, but Siddharth Yadav, for parity, I'll give you 30 seconds, please.
Thank you so much, Shivani. I can't counter much the convenience politics of Sanjay Jha, even after what my friend from Uddhav Thackeray, Shiv Sena, was saying, that we were the ones who demolished. He still finds Hindutva very inclusive. He has his own definitions, but I'll not counter that. What I want to point out is he was trying to teach me history, but he himself should go back to history, because the Ram Mandir movement was not just in the 1990s. It began right in 1528 when when the mosque was built. People have died since then. From 1849 to 1949, people died from then. In 1949, when on 23rd December in 1949, when it was found that the Murti is still there, people have been fighting a legal battle from then. People have sacrificed their entire lives, their youth, for this entire journey. If they want to come down today and enjoy and rejoice what was lost in our heritage and our cultural history of our country, you come here on national television and want to justify the bomb blast of Mumbai, saying that the bomb blast happened because of Babri Masjid. I am sorry, sir. Go back, see what the history is. Go back and see what the history is. And once you see that history, you will see which side were you on. You were on the wrong side, and the history recounts it, and that is why the people of this country are making you pay for it. You don't want to give us credit, don't give us credit, sir. At least share the joy. Come and share the joy with us.
Okay,
because we are
I have to pull away from both of you.
happy.
Geeta Bhatt has
People
been
of this
waiting and I
country are
thank her for her patience. I want to come to the whole aspect of sharing in joy. Naturally, there is joy amongst the section that has for long waited for the Ram temple to be a reality. Whether you believe in it or not, it is not for anyone to begrudge that joy. It has come legitimately after waiting patiently for a Supreme Court judgment. Politics aside, do you believe the opposition is fundamentally sending a message that, see, there is no need to be so joyous about it? इतना खुश होने की क्या जरूरत है? ठीक है, राम टेम्पल बन रहा है, प्रधानमंत्री क्यों जा रहे हैं वहां पे? That is the tone of the opposition today. Are they uncomfortable with the very event and the reality of a Ram temple?
Well, Shivani, definitely it is rather unfortunate, to see that how Sanjay Jhaji has been caught in a catch-22 situation where he doesn't know, whether to criticize Shiv Sena or to criticize BJP for the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. But the fact here is that, it is just to put this forth that near Jerusalem, there is a small town called Bethlehem, where in the Church of Nativity, there is a small room where lakhs of Christians visit every year because they think that it is here where Jesus was born. I wonder, I have never come across any community which has questioned and asked that where is the justification, what are the facts based on which it is being said that Jesus was born in this small church of nativity in Bethlehem. But on the contrary, you look here that there are political parties who, and this is a momentous occasion, in the timeline, in the historical timeline of this nation, it is a momentous occasion. It has to be, cherished, rejoiced. But unfortunately, there are people who are trying to look at it as a political narrative. There is no need to be political about it. Who is stopping people from going and visiting Ram Mandir? No one is stopping anyone, any political leadership. Anyone can go and visit. Anyone can go. There are questions being put forward that why is it that one political party is coming out and asking its representatives that, you can, you bring people and visit the Ram temple, make arrangements for their visit to the Ram temple. Every political party can do it. Who is stopping anyone from doing so? I mean, this 2 acre, it's just a 2 acre piece of land. But that it was not a matter of just that 2 acre land. It is about the justice and, the vindication of our cultural heritage. That is what Sri Ram represents. It is not what Mr. Sam Pitroda is saying and which some of the supporters of Congress party are trying to justify his statement. It is not about just religion. Bhagwan Ram represents our cultural ethos, our social ethos. Why he's called the Maryana Purushottam.
And why is religion such a bad thing? I'm not quite understanding why people talking or caring about religion in itself is to be frowned upon. It is a part of people's lives, and if somebody doesn't want to do it, they are free not to do it. But for those who have faith, you must respect their faith. That is the simple point. But I have just 30 seconds left. I do want to ask Siddharth Yadav that question that both of our opposition members are asking. You have turned this into a BJP event. And you are doing this, making such a show and tell about it because elections are coming.
No, I think, Shivani, the answer to this is very simple. If we are most happy, we are rejoicing it. We are not thinking about any political gains or losses. We are not concerned about which community thinks what about us when we celebrate this. We are very unapologetic about what we are doing. If they want to say that we are taking all the credit and this is a political game, go ahead and do it. Come, share the happiness, take the credit. We are more than happy to welcome you on the same board, to keep you on the same pedestal.
Will you send Uddhav Thackeray an invite or not?
We will definitely come on. There is no need for invitation. The Ram Mandir is opening. It's open for everybody. Come on. Sanjay Jha is also invited. Sanjay Jha is also invited. You can come and visit. But this is not about that. It is about whether you want to go or not, whether you are happy about it or not. We are unapologetically happy.
Okay. I've run out of time. I've run out of time. I think the next big stage to watch out for will be, as Sanjay Jha said, the opposition should partake in this ceremony. It's a seminal moment in Indian civilization, as Geeta Bhatt said, not just purely restricted to religion, but to Indian culture and ethos. And there is no shame in saying that the Ram Temple or the Ram Janmabhoomi has been reclaimed. Let's not be shy about accepting whatever excesses happened in the past. There's nothing wrong with it without any prejudice to modern day individuals. That's the only line that needs to be drawn. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Coming up after a very short break, there is a language war that is heating up in Karnataka to the extent that large groups of pro-Kannada activists were running rampage across the city of Bengaluru. They have torn down many signboards because they did not comply with the BBMP formula. But the BBMP itself has more days to go for businesses to comply. So why this rampage? Why this violence? We'll take that on the other side.
Hello, Moto.